When I think about Taekwondo, there's nothing that's taught me more, and at the same time, there's nothing that scared me more growing up. I started Taekwondo when I was 4 and fought my last time when I was about 23. At its core, you're just trying to hit someone as many times as you can with your feet and trying not to get hit yourself. Rendering the game to just those elements really sells it short. As my friend Kyle Balgo once said, everything I learned about life, I learned through Taekwondo. There's a lot that this game demands of you, and at the same time, there's a lot that it teaches you. 1. Prepare of your own accord. The same way that a presentation, a big exam, or an interview requires preparation, so does a great performance in the ring. I've come across this quote several times in my life, but I heard it first from my cousin Gilbert Martinez. Great fighters do not rise to the occasion, they fall back on their training. During the competition season, I aim to train about 2 to 3 times a day, about 5 days a week. For me, the ideal training day was weights in the morning, running in the afternoon, and then kicking in the evening. It was a lot easier for me to feel confident going into the ring if I knew I had prepared well by sticking to my training regimen. Lesson 2. Fight alongside your fear. When I lived in Manila, I had the opportunity to ask a UFC fighter about what he did to deal with the fear that everyone gets before going into the ring. He told me, first, I pee my pants, and second, I pray that someone cuts the power in the building so they cancel the fight. He chuckled and continued by saying, there's no way around those emotions. You have to find your way to deal with them and work with them. After a few tournaments, attentive athletes begin to understand what they need to calm themselves down. I had a playlist of exactly 14 songs that I had to listen to on fight day. I gave Linkin Park, the Foo Fighters, and Rage Against the Machine a lot of streams back in those days. After listening to that playlist, I always needed a good warm-up that would cause me to break a sweat and would help me begin to hone in on my fight. As long as those things were covered, I would pretty much feel ready to go. Routines are personal, and I've heard about some pretty strange ones out there. What they are fighters giving themselves what they need. When faced with difficult times, Taekwondo makes you familiar with these unpleasant emotions. Lesson 3. Maintain composure. Mike Tyson has the famous saying, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. For Taekwondo, it's easy to feel confident about your strategy going into the fight, but everything could change once you get kicked in the face. Pain is a real part of fighting, and it can decide the outcome of the fight regardless of training or skill level. Though a fighter's initial plan might not survive first contact with their opponent, their composure has to survive the entire duration of the fight. Since leaving the ring, I have found that there are parts of life that definitely require this flexibility with strategy, and that definitely test composure and endurance. Getting promoted, finding a job, advancing a skill set, I think these demand that someone really do adapt their strategies over time and keep a sound mindset going forward, regardless of results. I told my dad once that Taekwondo was never really my passion. It was my job and something that I had to do to get me through school. And perhaps that's the lesson I learned towards the end of my career. Though it wasn't something that I found myself totally in love with, it was a skill set that I had refined and developed, and it had certainly refined and developed me. People probably shouldn't hate what they do for work, but there's a lot to be learned from something that you know is shaping you into a better and more capable person. During those 20 years or so, I was learning about life while I was learning to fight.